Yes, yes, you're on the Heat. SiriusXM. You're in Mina's house. I'm Mina SayWhat. I got the beautiful, the incredible Ashanti joining us today. Hey, boo.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. You look so good. I didn't expect anything less, but you look
Oh,
so pretty.
thank you so much. You too.
Thank you. I'm really happy for you, girl. You're like finally, I feel like getting your flowers right now, especially after like the versus battle and everything that happened there. How are you feeling? You've had like a busy couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, it's been a lot going on. It feels good because coming out of a pandemic and still dealing with everything that's going on, it's like a new energy happening. You know what I mean? So I'm just super grateful. We're back to doing shows. You know what I mean? New projects, film, TV, music. Is definitely a blessing. So it's a nice synergy happening right now.
Yeah. Have the emails definitely kicked up after the versus situation? Like who's reaching out to you that was unexpected?
You know what's crazy? It's like obviously the verses that I did with my own, and then with my brothers, it's like,
Mhm.
you get your injections, you know what I mean? So it just feels good. It feels good to get the love from the people, especially in your hometown. So it's all good, it's all positive, all love.
Right. So you performed on both sides. Who made the first call? Because you were like, jumping back and forth between Ja Rule and Fat Joe. Like, who made that first call? Like, Ashanti, I need you here.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Joe hit me first but we were already talking about other stuff. And it's so crazy because I speak to Joe all the time, and I need people to understand, like, that is his real personality. Like, Joe is super animated. Like, that's just really who he is. So, like, because we FaceTime so much, and then when people are seeing him, they're like, yo, he's so funny. I'm like, yeah, no, that's really him. So I got the call from Joe first because, like I said, we were talking about some other stuff, and then Ja hit me like a couple of days later. They were working out their business stuff or whatever, and Ja's like, Bonnie, I need you to pull up on me, Bonnie.
In that voice.
In that voice.
I love that. You killed it, girl. Your outfit was on point. You inspired me. I had the Ashanti outfit the next day, girl. I had the black shorts with the boots and the jacket and the belt. You inspired me, Ashanti.
Thank you. Shout out to my stylist, Tim. Thank you, mommy.
Yeah. So there's a lot of drama that happened afterwards. And, you were trying to like maneuver. How did you feel about some of the fallout from that?
Wait, which part?
The part about what Joe said and other people being offended. Like, how did you maneuver
Oh,
through that? Like, because it's kind of like you got stuck in the middle of that, you and Rem,
I'm always getting stuck in the middle of stuff. But I mean, with that, I kind of, it's weird because I kind of wasn't in the middle of it. I knew that there was stuff said and going on or whatever, but what I'm glad is that everyone got a chance to say how they felt. Joe apologized, and that everyone is on
35 times. He apologized 35 times. He
But
apologized to you.
everybody is on positive terms now. It's like it's a good lesson, because it's like if you make a mistake and you genuinely correct it, then you can learn and move on. You know what I mean? And I think that's what the message is, to learn how to move on in a positive way and correct whatever it is that happened. So I think that
Acknowledge, say, I'm sorry, I was in the moment. Let me send you this Birkin bag. Are we good? So, girl, you are everywhere. You're at Verzuz. Now you got this movie. It's called Honey Girls. It's coming out digitally on October 19th. You're playing Fancy G. You're a global pop star. So it's an extension of who you really are. Can you talk about what attracted you to this particular role and what is this movie about?
I think what attracted me is the opportunity to show women empowerment, the opportunity to show women camaraderie, and that it's so important that we encourage and inspire upcoming women. It's a very male dominated industry. You being a female boss doing what you do, I know you deal with stuff as well. you know? So I think it's really important, especially now, to just show that and portray that message that we need to inspire and encourage each other. You know what I mean? The script was really cool. And one of the things that really attracted me, the director, Trey Fanjoy, she actually wrote me a letter, you know, explaining why she wanted me to be a part of it. And I was like, wow, that's never happened before. So I was really touched. And to see these young teenage girls portray that they want to live out their dreams and they're going to follow their passion and do whatever needs to be done. I feel like that's a strong message too, especially for 14, 15, 16-year-old girls, you know? So there are so many different parallels between myself and Fancy G, and the fact that these young girls kind of show Fancy some of her flaws without even trying, you know? And it's organic. So I felt like being a part of that is important, and it's a great message to portray today.
Absolutely. So it comes out digitally on October 19th. I heard you got a song in this movie, Ashanti. It's called Diamond. So did you create the song for the film, or was it like you had the song and it fit the film's theme?
Well, I co-wrote the record, and it was definitely made for the film. Very different genre music for me. And I think that's important too, because we should never be pigeonholed to one specific thing. You know what I mean? So I think this also encourages, like, try this, you know, tiptoe over in that genre and see, you know, what you could get cooking over there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I think that that's important as well. You know, very excited about that. Completely different sound. It's funny, I played the record for a couple of execs in LA, and they were like, nah, that's gonna be different. You know what I mean? They're like, it's gonna be
It's different.
they love it. It's a different, and what's cool is it's a whole nother generation, you know, under me, you know, that I'm able to touch. You know, the fact that like some of these girls, they're 14 and 15, they didn't grow up on the music I grew up on,
Right.
you know, but we can relate. And you know, it opens me up to another audience, you know, that allows me to continue to grow. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. The last time we spoke, you talked about you trying to get into like and starting to get into like the producing side of things, and how difficult it is for you, and you know, as a woman, and just trying to navigate that space. How are you doing with that now? Like, are you still continuing that? You know, are you still working on some projects where you're kind of like in the back seat driving the, you know, driving the boat?
Well, yeah, I'm excited because I'm executive producing another film. We're supposed to be shooting this December, I want to say, after the Millennial Tour. It's called Plus One. I'm very excited about it. It's like a romantic comedy, and it's kind of like a destination wedding vibe. So, like, I'm getting married, and there's just this one person that I do not want to come to my wedding. And of course, they come to my wedding.
Of
So
course.
it's very salty. So definitely some things go down.
Are you fighting in this movie, Ashanti? Are we throwing hands?
Can't give that much away yet. But what would you do if somebody pulled up to your wedding?
I'm sending my cousin. You handle that outside, cuz girl, you always have great energy, and you're just everything. You're beautiful inside and out.
Thank you
And
so much.
I'm really just happy to be talking to you. So you do have music out.
Yes.
Your latest song is 2:35, I Want You.
Mhm.
So what is this 2:35? Is that like your booty call hours? Is that around the time where you put the text in? Are you up?
No, you know what? It's crazy because it was inspired by a real moment. And at that specific moment at 2:35, that's what I felt. And I started writing. And it's so crazy. That's genuinely how it came to light, I guess. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I've always been one to write real life experiences, you know what I mean? And write about things that we all go through, you know, with me being a female and like having my own record labels called Written Entertainment, it's important to just show that this is why we connect. You know, this is why I connect with my fans, because I really write about what I really go through, you
Right.
know. That's a genuine connection. So
Yeah. Who is this song about? Who you texting at 2:35, Ashanti?
you know what's crazy? So originally it was about my ex. But now it's about my new. Not my old ex, not the old ex. Another one.
Not Nelly.
Nah.
Not him.
Nah, this record was written a couple of years ago, but it's crazy because now it's like I applied to the new boo, you know.
Yes. How is this new boo? Do we know him? I mean, when are you going to tell us who he is?
I don't know when I'm gonna.
Are you gonna be like Issa Rae, where you pop up married, and that's the first time we know who he is?
Listen, maybe.
I want to know, but you know what? When you open that door, you invite people in, and that's when it gets complicated.
What's really dope is that we're on such the same page with that. You know what I mean? Just as far as just being low, I think that that's really, really important. You know what I mean? Like, once you open up and you put stuff out there, it's like the floodgates open. So, but everyone knows I've always been low. You know, it took forever people to even know about, you know,
the boy with the Band-Aid on the cheek. I'm curious, you know, you have so many hits. Do you have a favorite? Like, which one is like your favorite song that you've written and sung?
That's a tough question because there is a difference between like my favorite song and like my most successful song. You know what I mean? So I feel like the song that has been most successful for me, that has resonated the most, that gets the roars at a concert, has obviously been Foolish, right. You know, which is my first single. And the fact that people have sampled it, and you know, you got rappers like Tory and Moneybagg that, you know, have sampled Foolish and have flipped it and have asked me to be a part of those projects, you know. And it's really it's a really dope feeling, you know. I was 20 when I wrote the record. I didn't know that this is what was going to happen. I didn't know the success, you know, I didn't know that it would touch so many people. And I think what's cool and different about me and my lane is that me singing R&B records, I don't really bash the guys too much. So it allows the guys to get that head nod, you know what I mean? Right. You know, and I think that's important. I think it's really important.
How about personally though? Because that, you know, that's your first hit. So obviously it's going to have like a sentimental value, but personally, like what is your favorite song from you? There's a lot. I would say there's a song called Living My Life on my second album. Just metaphorically what I did with the record, I think is really dope. There's a song called I Love You. There's a song called Rescue on my first album. And these are not like singles, you know? So if you're like a true Ashanti fan, you'll know them, but they're not like the popular records. But the merit and the things that I've spoken about, and the wordplay and just the cadence and the lyrics, and, you know, those things for people that are writers, they appreciate that, you know? So those are a couple of the top that I can remember. Oh, and on my Braveheart album too, because that was my first independent project, you know, that I released off of my label. There's a song called Nowhere that's really cool that I love, and Never Should Have. Oh yes, yes. Yeah, that's deep. Well, you mentioned it, so let's get into it. Waukesha, the remix, okay? Lil Wayne, Moneybagg Yo. Briefly before we get into this song, just tell us how this conversation went with Moneybagg Yo to get you on this song and remix it. You know what's so crazy? He hit me a while ago and he asked me about it. And at the time, I was kind of like, I didn't want anyone sampling Foolish anymore because I was saving it for the re-release of my 20th anniversary album coming up in April. So when we first spoke, you know, I was like, yeah, I'm so honored. I'm super flattered. Thank you so much. I'm a big fan, you know, congratulations and everything. But I kind of want to hold on because I want it to be special for my re-release. You know what I mean? And then a couple of months go by and I'm thinking about it and I'm like, well, what
it's going to be kind of far apart if he releases it this year, you know? So then we spoke again and he was like, yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you. It's going to be enough time in between. And I was like, you know, sometimes it takes me a minute for it to click. But he's super cool, super humble. And it was really dope that we were actually able to be in the studio together, because you rarely see that nowadays, obviously with the pandemic and people's schedules. So it's hard to really get in the studio together. So it was cool. It was a really good vibe. And it was very organic, you know, so.
Did he have his purple drink?
Nah, he ain't have it.
Nah. I appreciate you, Ashanti, and you're so beautiful. Real quickly, before you go, we need tips on how to get our bodies together. What are you eating? Like, how do I do this? I refuse to believe that's all working out. You have to have I feel like you have your whole life together. Like, you're probably vegan, girl. You eating artichokes every day, spinach. You throwing a little salt, you know, garlic. You make the banging vegetables. How do you keep this figure, girl?
You know what? Honestly, I really do focus a lot on what I put in my body. So I'm super heavy on vegetables, super heavy on green juices. I don't eat meat. I'm a pescatarian, and I'm trying to lean towards like weaning off the fish as well. But a lot of it is working out. It's the balance. You know what I mean? Like, if, for instance, I was in Miami for a weekend and I wilded out a little bit. I had fries. You know what I mean? I had some bread. I had a little pasta. You know, so that happened.
Ooh, pasta, Ashanti, no.
Right? No, but it was the chickpea pasta. It was made out of chickpeas, so it wasn't too bad. But when that happens, you have to hit at least 500 crunches. You have to do some squats. You have to jump rope just to balance it. You know what I mean? Like, it's super important. So I think as long as you have a good balance, like you eat healthy and clean, you could cheat a little bit on the weekends and then hit that gym, and then you'll be straight.
And last question is the wildest DM you ever got. We have to go out with a bang, Ashanti.
I don't even think they want to know.
Do people send you their penises? Like, I imagine that happens a lot to you.
You know what? They have.
All right, we won't expose Ashanti's DMs, okay? She got a man. We don't need to know all that. Thank you so much, Ashanti. The Millennium Tour is coming, right?
Yes, first show is this Saturday in LA. Pull up on me.
I'll be there as well. Honey Girls, digitally October 19th. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Okay. All right. It's Mina SayWhat. You're on the Heat, SiriusXM.